Hi, y'all. Liz here with Smart Business Food. I got some guests with us today, and we actually have a few more guests coming too. All right, those of you that are listening, watching, do me a favor and let me know about the feedback. I've been having some trouble with my microphone and my speakers, so let me know if we have any trouble. And today we are going to be talking about different pay types. Hey, Denise. We got a lot of different pay types that we're going to talk about today. Let's see, I've written them down. We are going to talk about hourly, and Heather is talking hourly today. And we have Samantha, and she's going to be talking about a combination of using percentage and hourly. Oh, there's Debbie Baku. Let's add her in. Here she comes. Hey, Debbie. Ooh, nice blouse. That's party. All right. Is that me? Hey, Linda. I'm hearing some weird. Let us know, you guys, if you're hearing crazy noises. Oh, there's Katie. All right, I think we have everybody now. Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're good. All right, so we're just going through what everybody's going to be talking about. So we have Heather talking about hourly. Sam's going to be talking about a combination of percentage and hourly. Ro is going to be talking about percentage, but with levels, having different percentages. Katie is going to be talking about a percentage pay, but with a base pay. And she'll be explaining what that is. And then Debbie's going to talk about, Debbie, what do you call it job ticket hour or?
We call it allowed hours.
Allowed hours. Okay. Oh, because you use Made Central.
Right? We called it before that the same thing, but it's still flat rate. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she uses what she calls allowed hours. Some of you have probably heard of it as job ticket hour. What does Chris call it? Do you remember, Sam? He calls it something different. Or Katie? Do you remember? Doesn't matter. We're going to find out about all these different styles. Yeah, ticket time. Yeah. Ticket hour. Oh, no. Yeah,
I like ticket time. Ticket time sounds kind of cool.
I think it is ticket time. Yeah, it does sound cool. All right. So I want to talk about a couple of things that came up in the news. I didn't see anything really big coming up. Did you guys see anything pop up big in the news over the weekend since Thursday? Anything new? I know the president came on and did his big thing, but I didn't see anything brand new that was really affecting us that we hadn't already talked about. So, all right. So I got a couple of things that we're going to talk about that will just be fun things then, nothing big and bad. Although this one is kind of cool. If you guys have heard of Dollar Flight Club, have you guys heard of that before? If you haven't, let me get a link for this. Dollar Flight Club is having a special. You can get flights for $1. It's only 24 hours, but there are dollar options, and all of the flights are really, really cheap. So you have to check it out. If you're flying, almost everybody is going somewhere this year.
What's the website?
I'm getting it for you. It's dollarflightclub.com. And I'm going to post it also over here. I think. Did I copy it?
I just booked a trip for my family's vacation the other day. This would have been good information to have before doing so.
It's only a 24-hour thing though, Heather. So sorry, y'all. I accidentally. So if you're in the Mastermind Accountability Group, that's what we're talking about this month. That's the book, you guys. Sorry. Let me try this again. Dollar Flight Club, where are you? All right, the link is coming from Morning Brew, just because they get probably some type of a kickback or something if you go there through their link. But this is an amazing deal. All right, loud echo. All right, so you guys, everybody mute when I'm talking, and when y'all are talking, I'll mute as well.
Hey,
Let's see if that helps. Yeah, Sam.
I jumped on their website that says there's 9 hours and 53 minutes left. FYI.
Sorry, guys. I didn't say it was a long time. No,
I know. It's good information. Go.
Yep, gotta go. Let's see. I had a couple other things. All right, this is just a fun little quiz thing. All right, guys, it doesn't have anything to do with cleaning, nothing at all, but they always have these little quizzes and I am really good at them. So we're going to see if you guys are any good. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys the ingredient list for this product and let's see who can guess what it is first. Sorry, y'all. All right. First ingredient, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, concentrated orange juice, citric acid, natural flavor, sodium benzoate, caffeine, sodium citrate, gum arabic, erythorbic acid, calcium disodium EDTA, and yellow number 5.
Fanta?
Orange soda?
Good guess. No, not orange. No,
Apple juice.
no, apple juice. Gosh, ooh, that'd be
Grape
terrible.
soda.
Carbonated. No.
Squirt.
Think about the caffeine. The caffeine is high on that list.
Oh, Mountain Dew.
That's right. Good job, Katie. Winner, winner, Katie. All right. The link was, Trisha, the link was for Dollar Flight Club. You can get their thing for flights for $1. I don't know how it works. Don't have all the details, but check it out. Also really quickly wanted to talk about before we start getting into pay, but we're going to do that really quick. Oh, Katie, is that your new office? I think it is. Oh, you're muted, girl.
Yeah, it's not decorated or anything though.
She's just barely got in there over the weekend, so she's got stuff in. Okay. Go ahead, Heather.
I just said congrats.
Oh, thank you.
Super exciting, especially not having one for so long. Okay, so COVID. There was the big question that came up today was around when somebody has a child in their house that has COVID, and it's your employee, do you think that there is a way that they can still come to work? What do y'all think? Yeah, this child's 8. Can't really think of a way, right? 8 years old. I mean, maybe send the kid over to grandma's house, 100% quarantine. But I can't really think of a way that you can make that work.
But they might get exposed, so you want that worker to come to work? Even if the kid goes to grandma's house, like they've already been exposed.
They get tested before.
Well, I would definitely have them tested, yeah. But they wouldn't have to quarantine for 14 days or 10 days. Also, did you guys see the new quarantine guidelines? There's a 7-day quarantine guideline with the CDC now that, you have to do it exactly right.
7 instead of 10.
7 instead of 10. Yep.
I need to tell my girls they can come back. One of my girls should come back like tomorrow then.
They have to follow they have to not have any symptoms for 7 days instead of 10. And then they have to get a negative test.
Oh, no, because you can have a positive test forever.
So that's what they're saying. If you get a negative test at 7 days, you can go back to work. But at 10 days, you don't have to take a test at all, and you can go back to work. I do know that quite a few people that do get negative tests, so might be worth a try if you know you're really hurting. All right, so now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of pay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about with everybody is if everybody could sort of share, and I'm going to go in the order that's on my screen. I don't know what's on your all's screen, but I'm going to do Heather, Ro, Katie, Debbie, and then Sam. Tell us first why you picked the pay plan that you chose, and did you have something before? What made you change? So why did you pick it? Go ahead, Heather.
I just always paid hourly, and to be quite honest with you, I'm very lazy, and I think it's the easiest way for me to be able to track the hours and to pay people out and for people to fully understand how they get paid.
Okay. So some good reasons. If you're lazy, if you want something easy, and if you're looking for something that's easy to understand, because I would agree with all of those. Would you guys agree with all that stuff that Heather said. Yeah, for sure. People understand hourly. A lot of these other styles, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, and we'll talk about how you get this message out to your employees as well. All right, Ro, how about you?
So I was hourly when I first opened up, but I switched to percentage pay probably about 3 years in. And the reason that I switched was because my times in the houses, the technician's time was erratic, and it stressed me out when they went over. Like, it totally stressed me out. And so I increased the amount that I pay, and I pay by percent. And so it's not stressful anymore. And I feel that for me, times are better, and I don't have to babysit it like I used to when it was hourly. I always felt like I was in a position of wanting to say, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm not there anymore. So for me, it was a great move to go to percentage pay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Katie, how about you?
Well, I was paying hourly before, and for me, I mean, I've always been the person that have always been like, I want to pay more. I feel like I want to pay my people more. I've always had a mix of really high performers that would get out of the house kind of fast, but still do a good job, and then people that would just take their time. And for me, percentage pay, which is what I do now with a base pay, it's always been really hard to track, really hard to make really transparent to the staff and reporting exactly how they're paid. So I didn't do it for a long time. We just stayed with hourly. But when I switched to Made Central, the reporting is so easy. We switched to percentage pay, where they have a base pay. So their base pay is $15 an hour. They'll never make below $15 an hour. That's right above minimum wage where we're at. But we tell them the goal is to make above minimum, above that base rate. So the goal for both them and the company is to make above that. Our girls typically average at least 16 to 18 an hour, and our top earners average over $20 an hour regularly. And they get their tips on top of that as well. So for me, I really prefer this way because it's very transparent. It's a very transparent way of paying, showing them exactly what they cleaned, how they're being paid, and it pays high performers well. And that's all I want on my team are high performers. So the ones that they are making 15 an hour, they're probably not going to work out for us, and that's okay because we want the people that are going to make $20 an hour.
All right, sounds good, Katie. We'll probably talk a little bit more about all the different styles and what they are, exactly how they work for you, what you pay, etc. So, Katie, you're in. We should have done this first. I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourselves after we finish going through why you picked the pay that you want. I know you all. I just assume everybody knows all of you. But we'll let you introduce yourselves. Patricia says that's her, and I'm guessing that's the same as you, Katie. All right, Debbie, go ahead and tell us why you chose your job ticket hour. Or I wrote it.
Allowed hours. All the same.
Yeah, allowed hours. Thank you.
So we actually paid commission for almost 17 years. And we got to the place where I felt like I wasn't moving ahead. I wanted to increase my people. We had such longevity that we were stagnant unless we were going to move up to 50, 55%. So we actually made the decision, and it took about 3-5 months for us to move to allowed hours or flat rate or job ticket hour. It's all the same thing, your favorite word. But what we do is if I sell a job for 3 hours, you get paid for 3 hours. If it takes you 2.5, you still get paid for 3 hours. If it takes you 3.5, you still get paid for 3 hours. So it's a little bit hourly, a little bit commission, kind of in between. But it gave me the ability to change that hourly rate of what they're being paid for those job ticket hours. So that big transition for us was figuring and calculating each individual a cleaner, how much they made per, and what their average was from their payroll. We went back actually 9 months and did to calculate what their average was, and that was their beginning payroll, the amount that we started with. But what took a long time was going back to every single client we had at the time, and we took at least 6 to figure out how long, 6 jobs we looked at how long it actually took to clean that house. Now, on in all fairness, May Central has changed our lives because everything is in there and there's no thing to think about anymore. But getting that transition and figuring it out is just work. So my overachievers, my great cleaners, my rock stars is what we call them here, they make a lot of money. And you know, we're not focused on you being less than the job ticket hour. We're focused on you doing a good job, but it's allowed them to have more hours per day versus being done at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So those girls that want 8 hours, 9 hours a day, and we're absolutely being able to, you know, provide that. And the girls that want to get done at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, then they only work 6 or 7 job ticket hours, and then they're done for the day. So it changed my entire business.
All right. So what I heard is it's very flexible too. It ties to that flexibility. All right. We'll be talking.
The job is a job. So if the job's 4 hours, it's 4 hours. You know, that doesn't change once we establish it. That's how much I'm charging.
But you can be flexible with how much people work.
How much they work and how much they make.
Yeah, with both. Okay. And you guys know, or at least some of you know, that we've been talking a lot about how to be the better employer. And one of the ways is to be more flexible, right? Giving people more what matters to them. So we'll talk more about that too. Okay, Sam, tell us about your plan.
So we are percentage pay or commission for the most part for all of our maintenance cleans. For all first time ins, we're hourly. And I just did that because we had had a lot of fluctuations with our first time ins. I'm getting a better handle on it, so I'm super tempted to make everything the same. And I personally, you know, it's really good. The reason I went to the commission was because my accounting meetings were always like, oh, your payroll percent to revenue is off. And I would look at the jobs and like, these are regular jobs. Why is that off? I was like, oh, well, they just didn't feel like it that day. So I thought, I was kind of like, I just wanted some consistency. So we went back and audited, you know, the last 3 cleans that didn't have anything wacky about them or no trainees, and set the job time there. And I just found that there was a lot of anxiety on the part of the cleaners when they thought they were going to make just a certain amount on the first time. So that's why we blended it. I may not stay there forever, but that's where we are now.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Sam. All right, I am going to have you guys go through and just introduce yourself. You can say whatever you want. Ideally, I'd love to hear your name. It's printed there. Your company name would be really good, where you're located, and if you want to give us some idea about the size of your company or how long you've been in business, something along those lines would be great.
Hi, my name is Heather Canning. I own One Organized Mom. What side is it on? We have been in business 11 years. We are in Jupiter, Florida, and we have 33 people on payroll.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Gator. I own Elite Home Cleaners in Columbus, Ohio. We've been in business 14 years. We have 17 full-time technicians.
I'm Katie. I own Clean Queen in North Denver. We've been in business about 3 years. We have about 10 cleaners and we're doing about $500,000 a year right now.
I'm Debbie Baku, and I own Ragmop's Cleaning Service in Louisville, Texas, and we have been in business for 20 years, and we are rebuilding from last year, and we have 17 cleaners today.
I'm Samantha Snyder. I'm currently located in the Phoenix East Valley market, and this is my second cleaning business. I was in the Southwest Washington, Portland, Oregon market for 9 years before I sold and moved here. And so this business has been in business for 2.5 years, and we have just 6 cleaners, and we're selling about $28,000 a month right now. Just recovered from our COVID losses, so we're grateful for that.
All right. Thanks, ladies. I also have to say real quick that Debbie cleans my daughter's house. and they love her. Love her. They had a cleaning company before starting using Debbie, and they did not love that company. They did not love it at all. And yeah, so Debbie, I don't know if I actually told you that to your face either, that she, yeah, and actually my daughter doesn't do the cleaning. My son-in-law does, and he is crazy picky about everything. He does his floors every day. You know, he's one of those people. Hey, Katerina, good to see you. Oh, hey, David, I didn't see you either. So yeah, awesome job, whatever you're doing over there. They're loving you guys. Love you guys. Oh, and I also didn't mention salary. Yeah, I wanted to sort of represent salary. I don't personally pay salary. Hi, Clarissa, but I wanted to talk about it because it is another viable option. That's a new type of option that I know a few people that are paying. So I have some information about how salary works. There are some parameters around salary, but they're not scary. A lot of times people think, oh no, you can't do salary because of all of these different restrictions. There really are not a lot of restrictions as long as you understand that you're probably going to be paying overtime to your technician. So as long as you know that piece, then it's not a problem. The thing that people like about salary is you guys probably all know this. Your people love to know how much their paycheck is going to be every single week. And it is nice for the business owner in that they always know what their payroll is going to be. Every single week, they know exactly what it's going to be. And so making that happen and making the money that's going to make those numbers, that's a different, the activities that they do in their office are much different. They are heavily focused on sales and booking jobs for the day. So you can see, hopefully you guys can see that there are a lot of different ways to pay, and we're just representing 6 of them here today. There are at least 6 more different types of pay styles. All right, let's see. I would like you guys to share, if you could, what isn't good about your pay style. What is something that has made you think in the past, should I change this, or I don't want to change, but it's something that if someone is to begin using your pay style, something that they will need to know about. They'll need to make sure that they manage. All right, Heather?
Overtime, if you don't have a good handle on your overtime, I would imagine if you're not hourly, that could be problematic. I actually am contemplating on doing a little bit of a hybrid and having some people do not salary, I'm not too sure exactly, because they're kind of maxing out at where we're at, and their percentage, like their efficiency is like off the chain, like they're cleaning at 150%. So I keep trying to explain to them, slow it down, kind of losing money here. So trying to be creative and see what else we can do to make it money. Is that me?
Oh, I probably forgot to mute. Heather, it was probably me if we're hearing stuff coming through. All right. Anything else, Heather? Did you just shut? Okay. How about you, Ro?
So I think you kind of touched on it already, and that is the not knowing how much you're going to get paid with percentage pay. And also it does fluctuate. The biggest thing, though, is that the technicians need to understand how it works. And so we go through it with every single paycheck. We explain to them where they hit, how they could have made more. And plus they get paid really high. So I think that makes it a lot less stressful for them. So my technicians are averaging between 18 to 20 an hour, and that's really high in our area. And then tips on top of that. So that made it a lot more palatable for them.
So sorry. I literally just lost my train of thought.
Did you have
it's been quality and timing. So we have some girls that Like they'll blast through a house so fast, but then they'll get great quality scores. And it's just like, I don't know what's going on. But then some girls, they blast through the house and it's like, no, you needed to stay there that whole time. So we really have to watch quality. Liz always told me you either have to watch quality or time. And I got sick of watching time, so now we're watching quality. And I prefer that a little better, so.
All right, awesome, thanks. How about you, Debbie?
I think what I was saying before is that you have to, it takes a minute to learn your numbers and know how much time you're really taking at houses. And I think that was the learning curve that was the most time consuming for us. And once we had it, and literally I go, you can work 40 hours a week. You think 8 to 5 is 9 hours, right? So you can book 8 hours of cleaning. And if they not understand, we're like, you can work 4 hours and 3, that's 7 hours, or a house that's 3 hours and 3 hours. So when I do little hand motions, they seem to understand that it kind of clicks a little bit better. We give them the opportunity to choose how many hours they want to work. It's 35 to 40 hours, 7 hours a day minimum for full time. But our girls pretty much average over 8, but it might be that Monday you work 8 hours and 15 minutes, and Tuesday you work 7 hours, and Wednesday you work 7.5, and so it fluctuates because not every day we have 8 hours of work for your particular house. So I think it's training them to understand how the days work and how they might get done a little bit earlier or work a little bit later different days. And we've had no issue because I think they see their paycheck, and that's at the end of the day, it's all about how much do you get paid.
Yeah, I think bottom line, show me the money. It's kind of the answer there. All right, Sam, what you got?
So the challenges of this pay type, I think because there's a blend, and we're a small company and we clean in teams, it might be a little different dynamic than a large company with solos. And that's because if you're doing a commission for the regular maintenance cleans, and then you're doing hourly for wackadoodle stuff, for training, for first time cleans, and then there's any blending. A team that normally does maintenance cleans has to help with the first time in, or a team is out in a house and it's going long and then somebody's coming to help them, it might cut into their commission. I think that's confusing for them. And honestly, I like that we're setting some consistency and some expectations where I can have a bookkeeping meeting and have an idea what my payroll percent of revenue is going to be. But I think that there is a lot more work for me running payroll, and I don't love what I'm doing, to be really honest, with the blend. But it's better than having them have anxiety about first time ins. I just think it's a lot more work. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be our final thing or not, but I guess we'll find out.
Sam, you kind of struck on a couple things that I wanted to mention. It really depends on, what size homes you're in, and how you're running your company. And like you said, bringing teams together, because
absolutely totally different
8,000 square foot houses that, that wouldn't work for me in my area.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, why don't you guys just hold up your fingers? How many people is on your typical team? 1, 2, 3. All right. So what we see there is we got 3 solos with Rosemary, Debbie, and Katie. Sam is typically running in teams of 2, and Heather works all from 1, 2, or 3. And sometimes you're 2 or 3, Sam. Okay.
Yeah, that's what gets confusing.
Yeah. All right. I do have a question with, we got a question here from Katerina. She wants to know how much you have to pay or charge if you want to pay your people $20. Do you guys know how to figure this out? Does anybody have? Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear what y'all have to say. What about you, Heather?
40%, right? You want 40% for your raw payroll for field staff.
Okay. Do you do the same thing? Does everybody do the same thing? Look at somewhere around 40? I don't think everybody does. At least a couple of people have different numbers there. All right. So
more right now, percentage wise, and I don't love it, but it's just the market that we're in here. But you take your number that you want them to make and divide it by your hourly rate, and then that will give you your percentage, and then you can decide if that's palatable or not.
If it's going to be happy for them, they're going to be happy, and if you're going to get what you want. How about you, Ro? How do you do it?
So we have 3 tiers, and it's based on how many hours you no, I'm not.
I can hear her.
Oh, Katie, I thought Katie yelled. She can't hear.
There's a lot of feedback on my side, just saying. It's hard to hear.
Feedback. Hold on.
So we have 3 percentage pays. We have 40 is the base, and you have to work up to 30 hours is 40%. From 30 to 35 is 43%, and from 35 to higher is 46%. So it just depends on how many hours they work, and it's every week. So if they don't hit it one week, they can hit it the next week.
That's high. Wow.
Well, I'm solo and I don't have any costs, so I don't have any problem.
See, that's a great point. You know, if you're not having to go to the office and you're not having to burn that time and you don't have cars. So I think all of those points are so valid if you're thinking about changing how you pay. Because I couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah, and I couldn't afford to do it when I had teens and had all that car insurance and overhead and repair and maintenance for cars. So I cut all those costs out, you know, and I'm moving into a smaller office when my lease is up. So it works for us.
Yeah, good point. We will talk about some of the other things that impact how your pay works. All right, Katie, how do you decide what you need to charge to be able to get what they want?
We charge flat rate. And our hourly right now is between 50 to 55. We just actually raised across the board to 55. So we're doing all our new quotes at 55 an hour. But before, all of our quotes were at 50 an hour. And so that's basically what we try to get per hour. And our top earners average $20 an hour. And also, I have to say, we did make the change at COVID. We no longer come to the office every single day. They dispatch from their house, they clock in at the first house, and they clock out at their last house and go home.
All right, sounds good. How about you, Debbie?
I think we're all doing kind of the same thing. Initially what I started with was if I was going to charge $20, pay my people 20, I would just charge 60. So kind of that 3 times so that I have those numbers to work. The difference comes in is that, you know, 18 months ago, I charged $11 to trainees. You know, now they're coming in at 15, and that's a big difference to, you know, your numbers are all, you know, this and that. But also, we have such a lot of longevity, so I'm really high on some of my my allowed hour rate or my hourly rate, if you will, to stay in line. So those newbies offset those higher rates, but it ends up making it. You know, my numbers are still in line the same as, you know, everybody else is saying.
What you got, Sam?
I am sorry. I had a phone call from school come in partway through there. What was the question?
The question was, how do you determine what to charge if you want to pay $20 an hour?
Oh, well, you take the 20 divided by your billing rate. I don't understand the question.
Basically, they were wondering how you personally do it, but you already did talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's see what David has to say here. Fixed price was paid, fixed amount. Hourly jobs were paid hourly, like move-outs, first times. Our cleaners generated over $5,000 per month in 2015. So David is pointing out something that's really good question that I'd like to talk about. Yeah, and Patricia's asking the same thing. Recurring service, one times, move-outs. You know, do you pay the same for each, and how do you do that? So let's see what Miss Heather has to say.
We pay the same across the board. It's just an hourly rate. We do put little incentives on jobs. Again, we have a lot of 8,000 square foot jobs, and some of the jobs are actually like 24 hours. So by 3 people, it's 8 hours long on a job. And we're getting more and more of those jobs. And the staff is getting like what? I don't get to leave. There's no break in the day. So we're trying to find little incentives. You know, we pay for lunch and we deliver lunch to the job site, things like that to keep them motivated.
All right, we're definitely going to have to hear more about that in a little bit. Go ahead, Ro.
We kind of do what Sam does for anything. In fact, exactly what David said. If we charge the client hourly, we pay hourly, and that applies to all first-time ins and so forth. And the reason for that is because, you know, sometimes we really need the business, so we'll lowball the job to get it. Sometimes if it's going to be a recurring, we'll lowball it. Sometimes if we're really busy and we don't have room, we just see how high we can price it. And we, you know, it balances off, balances in the end. And that way, in any way we do it, the technician is not being, harmed. And how we calculate their hourly pay is the previous 2 weeks, what their hourly pay average, what their hourly pay worked out to be. That's how we determine the hourly rate.
All right, so it adjusts every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's something different. That's good to know. All right, Katie.
We just charge a flat rate, and then if the girls end up going way over on initial cleans, like initials, one-times, move-outs, I just pay their base rate for those jobs. So they get paid $15 an hour for those jobs.
So like you said you just charge a flat rate. So on like a vacant, Katie, you just give a price then. Is that right?
Yeah, just give a flat rate price.
Okay.
So we have a flat rate price for initials, one-times, move-outs, and recurrings.
We just charge the same. But if I book a house that's 8 hours, 12 hours, and depending on how many people go to that initial clean, then they're still making that same flat rate. 4 hours, depending on how many people went. So it works out to be the same.
I actually have a question about that, Debbie, before you go, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said you were first transitioning everybody over, I think you said you took 6 or 8 jobs to determine the job ticket hour. What do you do with your new job?
3 months. So if somebody was bi-weekly, that was, we had enough. We went 3 months back. So if it was a monthly client, we had at least 3 or 4 cleanings, depending.
And so what do you do with your new one? How do you determine the pricing for the new jobs?
We go by square footage. We've always done that. I've always done that for forever. So it just, that's how we calculate it. And now we're transitioning to that cool quoting tool that's in our software, and so we're learning how to use that. But we still go by the square footage. We go by, we still use what I came up with in the very beginning 20 years ago to come up with how long it's going to take. And then, then we see, and we've been pretty on target, especially since we've changed over to match the square footage to how long it actually takes to clean the house. And, obviously taking into consideration things that are, abnormal off, flat surface, hard surface floors, animals, extra people. This last year has just been, and we've had to think about things a little bit differently and estimate differently. And we, on a side note, we went to a house on Saturday. We worked on Saturday this week, and 3 of our customers were there. And our girls are like, no pressure. But they are, we had that snowstorm, and we've had a lot of people still recovering from all of the construction, and a lot of damage was done during our week of snow. And so we had 2 families staying with the daughter-in-law, and we cleaned the daughter-in-law, and they were like, oh my gosh, every room there was a customer. But they had 6 adults watching everything. But it makes a difference. How we want to make sure we're serving, and at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're paying the people, and you're also making some money. That's the whole point of the game, right?
All right. That makes sense for me too. I get that. Okay, Sam, how about you?
I mean, we have it baked in already. So those first time ins are hourly. Anything that's unpredictable is hourly. So, and I will say this, I think this is important to note. We also, our maintenance cleans have that commission percentage, but they're also, just like Katie, guaranteed a base wage. And our base wage here is 15. We call it bottoming out if they do that. It doesn't happen very often. It's usually if they have stayed on the clock during lunches and not clocked out, not tracked their time when they really weren't working. And it makes it look like they're working more hours than they were. But I think it's important to say this: when they're in these hourly cleans, like a first time clean, and say it's a 7-hour job, I don't put that at 15 an hour. I put it at 20 an hour, because we know that we're only productive in cleaning, 85% or so of the time. And so I don't feel like it's fair to pay them the hourly rate when that doesn't include cleaning up and packing the car and commute time and all those things. So we inflate it because we're looking at that 85% efficiency rate overall.
All right, sounds good. Katerina has a question here. For this question, I think we can just do a thumb vote, y'all. So if you do walkthroughs before you send estimates, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. All right, we got 2 sidewayses. So I'm going to have you guys, let me mute, and it was Heather and Sam. Debbie, did you have sideways or was yours down? Down, right? All right. So Heather and Sam, if you guys could tell us about your walkthroughs.
If we're over a certain square footage, we do go require a walkthrough, or if they want us to pick apart a cleaning, like upstairs, downstairs, and it could be a 5,000 square foot house, and there's only 2 people and they want special things, we'll go do a walkthrough before scheduling it. But on a typical cleaning, we do not do walkthroughs because we know our production rate. We know what we can do on the initial cleaning versus the reoccurring or move out.
We're doing walkthroughs when we can't see current pictures on the MLS, or the pictures look a little dirty. If they're currently listed on the MLS and the pictures are clear, like really high quality, and I can see that it's been a really clean, well-kept home, then I will just ballpark it. But I don't do that if it's not current photos on the MLS. I want to. I mean, I've got really good estimating, but people don't tell me the truth about their condition. So
we actually ask. We have them rate their homes on every quote. Actually.
Hey, give me just a sec. Katie, I know you're going to have to go. You've got an emergency.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I put Xerxes in the field.
That's okay. No worries, Katie. I also pay the same way that she pays, percentage with base pay. So I will just fill in for what you do, Katie, because we do the same thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, good luck, Katie.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. I'll try to figure out how I can leave. I mean, I really don't even know how. So.
All right. Oh, I could probably kick you
in
out.
the bottom it says leave
I
studio.
got rid of her. All right, poor thing. It's so stressful. Okay, we have a question here, y'all, from Patricia. She wants to know if anyone pays mileage, or how do you, I think what I'm going to ask here is, how do you make sure that your team members, the people that work for you, are compensated for the time that they're driving, or whatever they might consider mileage, or whatever they might be concerned about in your job pay?
We're hourly from clock in to clock out, and we have company cars.
So our technicians only come into the office once a week, and the rest of the time, the only mileage really is between houses. And we try to book the technicians so that their daily travel is actually less than they would travel to go to the office every day. And pretty much we're able to work it out that way. And we did in the beginning, I'll change that. In the beginning, when I switched to percentage pay, we did pay mileage, and it was a nightmare to track. So I just increased everybody's pay and said, we're done, no more. So.
I don't pay mileage either, but I do pay a higher rate, hourly rate. So I think that makes the difference too.
The only time we do that is if we ask them to drive their own car, and the percentage covers all the time.
All right. And we tell them that their mileage is included in their pay because they get paid from the time they clock in until the time that they clock out. Sometimes it's a little tricky for people, and every once in a while we'll get somebody that says something erroneous like, hey, you don't get paid for drive time. Yes, you do get paid for drive time. But every once in a while, anybody that pays on percentage has probably had an experience where somebody says, hey, I'm not getting paid for drive time. And so it has to be explained that you absolutely are. And at the same rate, it sounds like that everybody is too. I had another question here. Ro, you said that you sit down and you talk, or I don't think you said you did, but your office has a conversation, a one-on-one with the people every single week with all of your technicians. And that one of the things that you talk about is their pay for the week. And if they met their pay, I guess goals, whatever they're trying to make, and if not, how they could make more. Can you give us some examples of what a conversation might sound like? Like, how would they make more? What would that sound like?
So we show them we get a great report from Maid Central. We show them all of the hours that they worked in each house and show them where they are. So for instance, we're kind of a little loose. If they work 29.5 hours, they didn't hit 30. Usually we're nice and we're going to say, we're going to bump you up, but next week you need to pay attention to your time. So every week we show them what percent they hit and how they could have hit the higher rate, or congratulations, you did hit the highest rate. And that sitting down helps them every week to talk about that. It's a 15-minute conversation about everything that's going on, including, all the compliments and things that they got. But sitting down and going over their paycheck with them, it has alleviated the stress about, am I getting paid for mileage and how much am I getting paid? And they really do understand the percentage pay a lot better because we list every client, what the percent was, how much they got paid, and say what you could have done to earn more.
I keep forgetting that I have to unmute myself every time. I'm like, oh, where's the dumb button? All right. So one of the things that I see also, Denise really likes that you meet with them weekly. We hammer a lot on matter, meaning, measure, and autonomy. And that meeting with them every week definitely makes people feel like they matter, definitely showing them that measure. I really love that. My next question for everybody is, how do people get raises in your company? How do they make more money? How does that happen?
For us, we're currently hiring. We've hired at $12 an hour forever, and we just now bumped up to 13. We give raises 30 days in after they've completed training, 90 days in, and every 6 months. Once we started this, we also created more positions on the field. So we have 7 tiers. So every time they get promoted, it's another 50-cent promotion. So we really have just built it for them to make more money.
Our folks make more money when we raise our prices, and we're very diligent about doing that on a regular basis.
I have a tier similar, and where we have the advancement. They start in as a trainer or trainee and go all the way up to a field supervisor, so they have the opportunity for advancement. And each tier is based on certain criteria, so that they can earn more money, and they all see it. It's actually on a poster in our office, so if they have a question, they can see this is where you are, this is what you need to do if you want to move up. But in general, we also do very similar where we do it after the 30 days after training, 90 days, 6 months, just to make sure they don't fall through the cracks. They actually set a reminders on our calendar so that they do, even if they're doing great, Also, the scheduler is really good about saying, hey, look at the scorecards on this one. It's really good, so that we want to recognize that so that they don't fall through the cracks. That has worked really well for us to be able to see. And our criteria is very simple. Attendance is crucial to get a raise. The second is your quality scores, and third is your attitude. And so if all three of those things are in, then they advance.
Is it my turn? Is it working? Okay, I had staff come in, so I switched. We're just like Roe. I mean, they get a raise when our prices go up. And honestly, they should also start at a lower percent and then go up over time. But because we just started this recently, we had to come in kind of at the higher end. That's just a demographic thing. So they're just kind of stuck unless we price increase right now. But future people, maybe not so much.
All right, before we get to this next question, I do want to point out for the people that are not familiar with percentage pay that what they mean by they get raises when the company does a price increase is because they're paid on percentage. If they're paid, I'm just going to use the number 50 because it's easy. If they have a $100 job and they're paid $50 and they raise the price to $120, and now they get half of that. Now they get $60 every time they clean that house. So they share the increase with the team members when they raise their prices. If you're paying job ticket hour, you have a lot more control over that. Your people get raises based on when you determine that they're getting raises, when you want to give them raises, or if you want to promote them or whatever. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. That goes to this question of how do you determine when they're going to, who gets how much? Talk to us a little bit more about supervisors, trainers, leads. What are your positions? How does that work?
So we have cleaning techs, senior cleaning techs. We used to have team leaders, senior team leaders, and we've changed it now to coaches, senior coaches or team coaches, senior coaches, trainers, senior trainers. Oh God, what else? Home quality control. So again, when you level up in our company, you get more money, and that's just across the board. You get it paid whether you're training somebody or not. That's just what your rate is. You're taking on more responsibility. We want people to take on responsibility, but we're not seeking people out. We let them come to us or kind of plant the seed because we don't want to force them into doing something that they're not going to be comfortable with just to try to do it to make that money.
So our office manager is paid based on recurring clients, and she has goals every month on what we want to achieve. And the more she achieves, the bonus grows exponentially. And then we have me and my husband and a part-time office. She's in the office part of the time. This is new, and part of the time she's in the field, and we pay her hourly.
We use that flow chart that I was talking about. So it averages about $10 between walking in as a trainee and being a field supervisor per hour.
Wow, that's big. So they start and then they can get up to $10 more as okay, that's awesome. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there. Go ahead, Sam.
No, you're fine. We actually right now have just a trainee, a team member, a trainer, and a field manager position. We don't have team leader positions right now. I'd like to change that, but I'm still working on some culture development.
I have to just say that whole team leader has gotten us in trouble, kind of goes to people's heads. In my opinion, it's like I can dictate what I'm going to clean. I'm going to tell everybody else what they can clean. So over the years, we've kind of done different things. Like we've created, because we do work in teams of 1, 2, and 3, that will create, position 1 and position 2, and the office dictates who cleans what. So now we just feel like the word coach is not as powerful, and it's really helping the people underneath them develop better skills.
Ro, did you mention trainers? How your trainers get paid?
I pay her hourly.
Hourly. All right. And then how do you determine the hourly? Same way? Back 2 weeks, whatever she was making hourly?
No, she gets what her average pay is plus an additional $2 an hour. And then she also gets, when the training is complete, the training is like an additional week after they're out of the office. I want them to stay in touch with their trainee. So I ask that they contact the trainee at least once a week, say, how are things going? Do you need any help with anything? And then if they're still there at 90 days and they've been checking once a week, they get a $200 bonus.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys would like to, let me hold on here. How do you control the quality of the cleaning? Do you offer refund or recleans to unhappy customers? All right, Heather, you're up.
Do not like to give refunds. It is like the least thing that I will want to do. I will come and clean. However, we have customized a review, like an eval, right? For that's 30 days, 90 days, and every 6 months going forward. Redos are on there. Call outs are on there. Everything is 100% controlled by each staff member, that they control their destiny. And all of those things are listed on there. And that's really helped us a lot.
So we really don't have many recleans, but they're paid hourly when we do. And I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, but one of the things that helps us is that we don't allow them to rush too fast. And we haven't touched this on this, Liz, yet either. I do have minimums. I have a base level, which is 16 or 1650, depending on how good they're doing and how long they've been with us. And I do have a max level. And the max rate is based on, I don't want them in a 3-hour clean for 2 hours. Like you can't do that, because there's always something else you can do. So we do have maxes. And again, when we sit down every week, we say, oh, you maxed out here because you were too fast. So, and they're typically, I think our maxes are, for level 1, it's like 20. For level 2, it's 22. And for level 3, it's 23 an hour.
We only reclaim. We don't offer refunds.
Same here, unless it's an extreme scenario.
What do you guys do? Just reclean? Is that what I heard? Go ahead and reclean. Yep. Okay. Well, we are straight up on the hour. I'm pretty sure that we could answer questions for another hour. But good job, everybody. Thank you so much, Heather, Rosemary, Debbie, and Sam. Really appreciate you guys coming out today and helping us out. And we will talk to you guys. Tom will be here with me on Wednesday. Bye, y'all.
Thanks,
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.